Hello! I'm gonna show you how to use concealers today. We're discussing concealers. These concealers are fantastic. I love them. So these are the concealers that I've been using. I've used them for a really long time. They are a part of the Senegence Cosmetics line, which is what I sell, and I sell it because I love it. It's unlike any other cosmetics that I've used before. Everything is extremely pigmented, extremely long lasting, transfer resistant, transfer proof, waterproof, like all the things proof, and also infused with anti-aging skincare. So you don't have to give up the skincare benefits in order to get long-lasting makeup. A lot of times long-lasting makeup in general is filled with really drying ingredients, so it'll like stick to your skin and last all day. That is not the case here. There's a different type of technology that allows it to adhere to your skin and last and doesn't budge, but then it also has the anti-aging skincare properties to it, so it's really good for your skin. All of it is clean, EU standards, and I love it. So let's just jump right in. Today is concealers. There's a range of concealers and they all are kind of like adjusting to your skin a little bit. One thing I will say is I do wish they had a larger range, but this is a really great starting point for a beginner who just simply wants their concealer to not crease and last all day. Because sometimes too many shades can be a little bit overwhelming. Let me show you how to use it. They come in little tubes like this. They're airless pumps, and so you get every last drop. This one is almost gone. You can see every single last drop, and this also helps to keep them clean and bacteria free. I've swatched a couple on my arm. These are the ones that I use the most. So we have light, medium, and light. These ones I use both of them under my eyes actually, just depending on how much of a tan I have. A lot of times I just mix the two so that it creates a perfect match for me. I have really dark circles, and so the warmth of the light medium one kind of helps to counteract that. And then this one is medium deep, and I'll use it a lot as bronzer. For under eyes, I'm gonna mix light and light medium. You do not need a full pump. Let me repeat, you do not need a full pump. When you pump them out, you'll go down like a quarter and like kind of hit a stopping point, and then you have to press harder to push through that and press more. That sounds like a malfunction. It's not. I don't know. There's just like, you just kind of feel it. So I go to that point is all that I do. So I just do a little bit. Can you even see that on the ring finger? I do that much of each. And then rub it between my fingers like this, and really, you wanna really warm it up. These concealers are super, super pigmented. It's really easy to go overboard and use too much, and then you won't enjoy them. So rub it up so it's nice and warmed up, and then I press it down, starting a little bit lower, and then press it up into that under eye area, and then I'll bring it out this way. And I don't put like tinted moisturizer or foundation or anything on my eyes when I do my base, because I know I'm gonna put concealer in that area. So the trick to reducing creasing is less product. The less product you can use, the better, so that you don't have excess product that's gonna move around. I just got a little bit more. I feel like I want a little more coverage today. So I'm pressing it on with my finger, and I need some coverage on my lids. I'm using my ring fingers so I can be really gentle. You actually want to let this start to sit and dry down before you blend it out. That'll give you more coverage with less product, which will reduce in less creasing. If you go in and blend it out right away while it's like warmed up, it's just gonna shear out the product. Whereas letting it sit and dry down on your skin allows it to start to set, keeps the opacity really strong, but then you blend it out so it's like melted into your skin. This is also a self-setting concealer, so you don't need to use a powder over top of it. I do like to use a finishing powder to help blur and smooth the under eye area, but it doesn't need a powder in order for it to set, which is really great because that will help reduce like cakiness or crepiness or accentuation of fine lines and things like that. While that's drying down, I'm gonna show you how I use the medium deep shade for bronzer. Most days I like to use a tinted moisturizer for bronzer in a deeper shade. That'll give me a more like sheer skin-like finish. A concealer for bronzer will give me a more opaque, fuller coverage finish. I like both. I go back and forth between both often. You end up using less when you use the concealer because it is more full coverage. You end up using less of it than the tinted moisturizer. So it really is just on your preference of finish. If you like a more opaque finish and matte finish versus a more sheer, dewy, skin-like finish. Put just a little bit on my middle finger. That was about a half a pump. You can always add more, but it's really hard to take away if you get too much. So start small, start with less, warm it up so it thins it out, and this will help melt it into your skin. And then I'm gonna press it on. And then I like to use a denser brush to blend it out, to really push it into my skin. I'm pushing and pressing. I'm not like swirling. I wanna keep the pigment where it is, and I wanna keep it as strong as I can, and so I'm going to press it in. If I ended up getting too much, and it was a little too dark or something, that's where I would use like swirling motions to kind of try to shear it out a little bit. Understanding the way that you move your brush actually helps a lot in your makeup application because you can really control the pigment when you know how your brush can shear it out or keep the intensity. There it is, all blended out, and now I'm gonna blend my under eyes, but let me just show you real quick. These like truly do not budge. They're completely waterproof, smudge-proof, budge-proof, which also means they are going to last all day on your face. Now, if you do have oilier skin, they can break down a little bit quicker, but compared to other concealers out there, they hold up so well. So F82 is what I used to blend out my bronzer. And then I'm gonna use the F64 concealer brush to blend out my concealer, and I'm just gonna use that same type of motions where I'm pressing it and work my way around that concealer. And it just, I mean, you really don't have to do a whole lot of work to blend it in because it just melts into the skin. The molecular weight of this product is so tiny, and so it really does like melt into the skin instead of sitting heavy on the surface of the skin. It doesn't feel thick or cakey or uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like a typical full coverage concealer would. Okay, so that is it. That is the concealer. Last thing, if I want to be a little extra and I need a little more brightness on the face, I will use the fair concealer, or we even have a white version as well. I'll use a little bit of fair. You can see that's pretty light in some areas where I just want a little more brightness. And I'm not looking for coverage from this, I'm just looking for brightness. And so I don't let this sit. Same with how I didn't let the bronzer sit. I blend it out right away because I'm looking for more of just a sheer wash of color over the skin, not like a full pigment coverage. And so I'm just gonna go right in and blend it, and that'll help to just brighten the areas of the face that need a little bit of brightening. My rule of thumb for the under eyes, and I've changed my ways. I used to be like full coverage, bright as I can under the eyes, like I want it to be white triangles basically. And looking back, I realized all that did was accentuate fine lines, dark circles, bags. The more I tried to brighten, the worse my under eyes looked. So I have learned along the way that using a concealer that is same color as your skin tone, maybe like a tad lighter under the eyes, and then just strategically brighten, that is the way. That is the key. So I hope you guys learned something. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.